All right, everybody. Hey, hope everybody's doing well this Wednesday night. Welcome to this edition of the US REI Investor Network. We're glad to have you here on this Wednesday night. We're excited about our main subject tonight. But before we get to our main subject tonight, we always got to go through a little housekeeping. If this is your first time joining us, hey, welcome to join us here on the US REI Network. So honored to have you guys. We've got over 200 people now that are part of this network across the country, and that number keeps growing every day. But if you guys are joining us, hey, we started doing these calls every Wednesday night starting this month. We'll do it to the end of the year every Wednesday night, and then we'll see if we keep doing it every week, which I imagine we probably will. People are loving it. Or we'll go to a bi-weekly or once a month, but I think we'll probably stick to the whole once a week on Wednesday nights. But anyway, thank you again for being here, whether you're joining us live via the meetup groups, the LinkedIn, Facebook, watching us on YouTube, listening to us on Clubhouse. We're glad to have you guys here. Our focus and philosophy is to provide a place for investors to find and promote deals, raise capital, and grow as investors. Highly encourage you to check out the website, usreinetwork.com. Not only do we list who are the next speakers on there, because we've got a packed lineup the next 3 weeks, we also share the replays there along with our main YouTube channel at weclosenotes.com. But we expect you to treat everyone with respect. We want you to provide resources across the country. Feel free to ask questions. If you got a deal, need a realtor, an attorney, whatever it might be, we're here to help you out there. And each week we will try to feature a different vendor. And we also will have a subject matter expert to help you out, whether it's notes or real estate or tax deed investing or self-storage or the asset protection stuff. We've got some great stuff over the next few weeks for you as well. A little about me, if this is your first time on the US REI Network, I've been a real estate investor for over 20 years. It's hard to believe it's been over 20 years now, but it has been. I'm the CEO of weclosenotes.com. We are the number one investor recommended note education platform, buying a lot of distressed debt over the last 14 years and been educated for the last 10. But with buying notes, it ends up leading to REOs, rentals, wholesaling, tax deeds, tax liens in a lot of variety of ways. And that's why we started the US REI Network, because we know a lot of our note investors out there are also dabbing into other things out there. So honored to be the 2014 Educator of the Year, and I was the runner-up for, I think, Realty in 2018. But anyway, we do need your help as a virtual REIA group. We're not just focused on one market. I live in Austin, Texas, but I haven't bought anything in Austin here in years because I find better deals across the country. And I see a lot of investors across the country are doing the same thing. So encourage you to join us each week. Like I said, join the different groups, invite others. If you got other investors you come across, network with, feel free to invite them. It does not cost anything for them to be a part of us and join in here and listen in and educate yourself on the different niches and experts sharing their information with you. Week to week, people will be offering classes or training, stuff like that. It's totally up to you to use it. There's that opportunity there, but all our speakers are here to provide content first and foremost to help you walk away as a better investor tonight. Highly encourage you to network others. Make sure that's why we have the different ways for your network, whether it's LinkedIn group, the Facebook group, or the meetup group. Feel free to network there. Share your deals. And the big thing is, you got deals, we want to make sure you have those under contract. We don't want daisy chains of deals, but if you're wholesaling a deal and you have it under contract, you have an option, feel free to share it. If you've got an REO you're trying to sell or rental or whatever it might be, hey, feel free to share it. There's a lot of people growing here that are buying all across the country, all right? I'll share the LinkedIn URL in the Zoom chat, or you can actually go to the website, usreinetwork.com, and click on the LinkedIn group, the Facebook group, or the meetup group to join all three of those, no cost there. But anyway, check out the website. It's been up and running for a couple of weeks now, and we're excited to have you. All right. One of the great things that we like to do here, and let's see here, is we've got people rolling here on a Wednesday night, is we'll get to introductions and expectations here in a few minutes with everybody. We'll talk about haves and wants, and I'll reach across. I'm keeping track of everybody on YouTube and Facebook. They're joining us live, and Clubhouse. Hey, Daniel, I'll see you on Clubhouse there, bud. Haves and wants. What are you focused on? What are you looking for? Those kind of things are important. And we want to make sure that you're able to express what you need and get this taken care of. We'll also talk about a different featured deal of the week. Every week we try to have a specific deal. And this is something, if you've got a deal and want to be featured in front of thousands, just not here live on Zoom, but when you look at our social media platforms with all of our followers on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and everywhere else, and our big email database plus the video views on our YouTube channel, hey, it pays to have your deal featured here in the week. So if you got a deal you want to be featured, feel free to reach out to me. We'll gladly put the slides together and bring you on live to talk about it. We'll also always feature a vendor spotlight. And then those vendor spotlights, you can also find those short videos talking about each vendor, or each vendor talking about what they offer on the main website, usreinetwork.com. Those are also on our YouTube channel. Check that out. We've had some really great ones in the last couple of weeks, and we got a few more lined up to talk over the next few weeks as well. And like I said, every week we'll have a different subject matter expert, and you're going to really love the content tonight with our subject matter expert tonight. And then we always encourage, if we've got time, online networking, you guys jumping in online or exchanging each other's information in the Zoom chat role, back and forth there for you. Just make sure you treat everybody with respect. The golden rule, everybody. Hey, treat everybody how you like to be treated. You know, that's one of the most important things as investors, is make sure you treat how else you want to be treated. Okay. So let's move to the haves and wants. We're kind of moving through some stuff quick tonight, because I know that our speakers got some great stuff you guys are going to want to tune into, listen. But if you've got a deal to sell or flip, or you've got funding to provide, that'd be great to share. And by funding, we mean funding that you really have. Don't say you've got money and then you have to go out and raise it. If you've got 50 grand or 100 grand burned on your pocket, that's a great thing out there. Okay. And then if you're looking for a deal, hey, many people know me as the note guy. If you, hey, I'm looking for fix and flips, or I'm looking for wholesale deals or properties I can turn in Columbus, Ohio, mention them. Let us know what you're looking for. You'll be surprised at the number of stuff that comes across my plate and others out there. But be specific. Make sure you have a little bit of information about your deals. And like I said, it's okay to share your contact information on specific deals. Share your details ahead of time, before you get here to Wednesday night in the groups, and we'll make sure to cover those. But anyway, like I said, we are here to help you guys out there. So one of the things, let's do this. We've got, I'm going to bring, let him come on. We see somebody new online. I see Daniel. Daniel, I'm bringing you on as a speaker. Invite you to speak, to share what you're focused on and what you're looking for. It's like you're brand new to Clubhouse as well. So we got people on Clubhouse out there. Daniel, are you there? Can you hear me, bud? Maybe he's like, oh God, I don't want to get on. All right, we'll move on while Daniel's coming on here in a second. Let's bring on some of the folks in there. Let's see, Alan Herring. Alan, I see you there tonight. If you'd like to come on and talk, you guys raise your hand, say, hey, I'm glad to talk. I'll go through the lists and go from there. Catherine, I'm going to skip you because I want you to talk a little about your featured deal of the week. And I took the PDF you sent me on your Miami deal and put it in a slide here to feature it tonight. So Catherine, we'll get to you in a second. But Alan Herring, I'm going to click on the allow you to talk. If you want to come on and share who you are, what you're focused on, that'd be great, Alan.
Hey, hello, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Doing great. Where's home for you, Alan?
Well, that's a loaded question. Home for me is Massachusetts, but I currently live in Spring, Texas. It's about north of Houston.
Yeah, just down I-10 from me, basically.
Exactly. So I moved out here about 3 months ago. Well, I'll say 3 weeks ago. Sorry. I moved here about 3 weeks ago from Georgia. I was in South Georgia, Valdosta, for anyone who's familiar with Georgia. I was stationed through the Air Force at Moody Air Force Base, and I just decided to come out here for opportunity. I just realized that there's a big, massive opportunity with real estate here, and I just wanted something new. You know, I was living in the south of Georgia where there's not much going on, and I took a trip out here to Houston, and I realized it's a lot more like Boston. So I just decided to come out here, brought the family out here. I have 2 kids, and I'm just looking to do some joint ventures and just to learn more about the area and connect with different people from this area. I've done 2 house hacks. I've done 1 3-plex out in Georgia. I bought a 4-plex here, in which I live in 1 unit, rent out the other 3, and basically live rent free. I have some capital that I'm looking to get into some bird deals. For me, it doesn't really matter whether I'm flipping them or holding them. It really just depends on what that deal brings and what that deal entails. But that's pretty much what I'm looking for, under market value deals, basically wedges.
Make sure you share your contact information in the chat roll here. Make sure you, when you type in the chat roll, make sure the chat roll is set to everyone, just not panelists. So share your information now. Make sure you share what you're looking for there in the Facebook and the meetup groups as well too out there, because we've got different people in specific things. So make sure you share it in both places. Okay.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Hey man, welcome to Texas, buddy.
Thank you. Everything's bigger out here.
That's right, baby. That's right. All right. Moving on here. DL. I'm going to hit the DL and let you talk. Ask you to unmute yourself, DL. And we'll move on. If you're not, we'll go to Daisy. I'm going to Daisy Huang. Let you unmute yourself. Oh, Daisy may not have a, there you go. Ask to unmute there, Daisy, one more time. Daisy, you want to come on and share a little about yourself?
Hi.
Hey, Daisy.
Yeah. Hi. I'm actually I'm located in Silicon Valley. I'm new to this and just want to see what everybody is doing and looking to the opportunities always. Mainly I'm doing real estate local here in Silicon Valley. And I'm expanding outside of Silicon Valley in California mainly. Actually, I was 20 years ago from Texas, actually, Dallas. I think I used to be in Dallas, but a long time ago. So looking to see what kind of deal, what people do. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, glad to have you, Daisy. As always, guys, if you're brand new and looking for some guidance, feel free to schedule a 30-minute quick phone call with me at talkwithscottcarson.com. Love to find out more about what you're doing and then put you in the right direction with people out there for you. So glad to have you here, Daisy, tonight. Dan Van Diver. I'm going to hit you the allow to talk button. You guys should see that pop up on your screen. Ask you to unmute. If you want to come on, share what you're focused on, what you're working on, or a deal that you have. If you don't want to talk, that's totally fine as well. Just let me know. And then Dan, all right, moving on here. We'll go to Gerard Lewis, buddy. Hey, Gerard, how's it going? One more time, ask to unmute. Let me see if he pops up here. All right, we'll move on. John Wasaki, I see you on here tonight. John, how's it going tonight? I'm going to ask you to unmute. We want to come on and talk or not? All right, moving on. Let's go see here. Patricia Billheimer. Patricia, you want to come on, unmute your microphone and come on and talk. Share a little bit what you're focused on, what you're doing, what you're looking for. All right, moving on. Let's see, Roberta Hilbert. I'm gonna allow you to talk, Roberta. Let's see here. Patricia Billheimer, are you there? I see. Oh, hello, Patricia. I guess she's not. Okay. All right. I see Daniel joined us on here now. Hey, Daniel. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna unmute Daniel. Let Daniel talk here. Where is it? Okay. Daniel, if you hit the microphone button to unmute yourself, you'll be able to talk, Daniel, off of Clubhouse. What's going on, Daniel? How you doing tonight, bud?
Yes, Scott, can you hear me?
1 second here. Bring it on a little bit closer so everybody can hear you. Yeah, I think we can hear you good. Where's home for you, Daniel?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. Thanks for having me on. This is my first time talking on Clubhouse. Just downloaded it, I think, yesterday. So still figuring out how this whole thing works. But I'm based in New Jersey. Have been flipping houses here for about 8 years. Done about 20 to 25 projects, mostly in New Jersey, but the market's been saturated in the last few years, so we've branched out to other geographical areas. Have done everything from cosmetic flips to full tear downs and new construction, but now starting to get a lot more interested in commercial. So looking for large multifamily, 50 to 100 units. I've invested on the LP side in these types of deals, but this would be my first time doing something on the GP side. But I'm partnering with people who know what they're doing. So I'll have somebody holding my hand through the first deal or two. But really focusing on mostly on Tampa, Tampa Bay, the I-4 corridor up to Orlando. Also interested in some other markets if somebody has a deal somewhere else. Happy to take a look at it. Also been looking in Raleigh, North Carolina, and that surrounding area. And then also looking into industrial warehouses, mainly in sort of New England, New Hampshire type area. So I know that's a lot, but always happy to make connections. If anybody wants to reach out to me for advice on flipping houses or finding capital, things like that, always happy to make connections.
Awesome, man. Glad to have you on here tonight. Make sure you go on over and register at usreinetwork.com so you also get updates of the upcoming webinars we have for there as well too. And then join the different groups to share your knowledge and share your contact information. Okay, bud?
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So let's see here. I heard somebody in the background of there. Gerald, is that you, Gerald Lewis? Okay. He was, oh no. Good stuff there, Lollipop. Well, I see other people are like, we've asked to come on. I'm like, oh, I don't want to come on. I don't want to talk. That's totally fine. We will move on. And we've got, I'm going to bring on here our next, this part of the US REI network is our featured deal of the week. And I'm going to unmute somebody. The only way you keep her from not talking is to have her have a mute button. And you've heard her on here before. She is doing some big things. Excited what she's got rocking and rolling out in the Phoenix and other markets out there. It's Miss Catherine Bell there. How are you doing tonight, Catherine?
I'm good, Scott. I'm sure that Steve wishes I had a mute button some days.
Is this why you have two computers and only Zoom on one of them? So tell us about yourself before we bring on the featured deal of the week that you're going to share with us tonight.
Sure. So I'm Canadian, but I now have dual citizenship, and definitely an entrepreneur at heart. I've been an investor for well over 20 years. Done about 500 fix and flips. I've done buy and holds, had several Airbnb portfolios. We've got a whole other commercial side of our company. So we focus on investing in notes of all kind, residential, commercial, land, anything that's real estate backed. And then our commercial side of our company, we focus on doing medical office development across the country. So we work with smaller mom and pop medical facilities to help them become their basically their virtual real estate department, so that we can help them find the locations and help them grow and take that off their plate so they can do what they're brilliant at. And then of course in Northern Arizona, we have a workforce development that we've got going on. We're building about 150 condos up there and a bunch of houses, and then of course you got some other commercial development that we're doing as well here in the valley. So we're up to a lot. We love real estate and it's fun.
Yeah, and then you're also trying to purchase a note on a commercial property in Irving, Texas as well. We were talking about today. So good stuff. But you've got a featured deal of the week you sent me. This is something that we worked on. So I pulled a PDF flyer that you sent me. I'm like, oh, we're going to put this as a featured deal of the week because I think it's pretty exciting. And it is this, it's a condo here in Miami, correct?
Correct. Yep. It's in Miami. And that you can actually, that lobby there is where they filmed the TV show Dexter.
Yeah, I know they filmed the police department was run out of the lobby there. They would film it as the lobby in there. So it's in the high rise overlooking the water, 20th floor. It's a 2-1 or 1-1, 1.5. What is it?
It's a 1 and a 1.5.
There you go. Right.
Yep.
But
so it's an REO.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And we're looking to sell the note or sell the REO. Sorry.
Right. You're finishing up the foreclosure through. You've got your attorney wrapping the foreclosure, looking to sell the REO because basically it was an REO and the HOA sold off their position, and then you're just basically having to re-foreclose out the buyer of that HOA lien. So, and then you're wanting to sell it for roughly how much? About 170, I think, is what you're looking at.
Yeah,
And the value can't, it's at 250, 278 with it going up every day. In Miami.
right. Well, because of the location in Miami, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Water view and full facilities and stuff like that. Do you know what the HOA is on that monthly by any chance or no?
I could pull that up. I don't know it off the top of my head. I apologize.
That's okay. But in a great place to you guys, if you're looking for Airbnb, this is an ideal view. It's right overlooking Biscayne Bay. You can see Miami Beach outside of your, it's on Miami, overlooking the Biscayne Bay. It's just absolutely beautiful. If you're interested in more information about this deal, if South Florida is one of the ways you're looking at it, feel free to reach out to Catherine at TitanImpactGroup.com, like we have on the screen there. Catherine at TitanImpactGroup.com. And her phone number is as it is on the screen, but 480-244-2587. And it's actually vacant, I believe, and clean.
It is.
Move in ready, no rehab needed. The photos that you showed on there looked like they were photos from the actual from the bank BPO that we got back in the day, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. So kudos. Check it out, everybody. Good opportunity. You wear some pastel, roll up your sleeves, and pretend you're Miami Vice. Crockett and Tubbs, baby.
Oh, good Lord.
Played the Miami Vice theme when we rolled that in there for you. So, but anyway.
Yeah, that's totally appropriate. I'll have to get Steve to dress up, and he could do a whole thing around it.
You got to get rid of the Boston cap, the Boston cap there.
He loves the 80s, so this is perfect. We'll dress him up like Don Johnson.
We'll get a pink undershirt, a white rolled up coat, and then we'll give him an electric earring or something like that. Diamond.
Oh my gosh, he'd love it. Now he's all excited. You got him out of his chair.
Good stuff. Well, Catherine, thanks again for sharing the deal of the week here, and just for as well. Good stuff. All right. Awesome stuff. Yeah, guys, if you have a deal you're looking to move, got a deal you want to pitch, feel free to let me know. Shoot me over the information. We're glad to create a slide and bring you on, have you talk about the deal. But if you like South Florida, Miami is a hot market. This is a deal that's worth considerably, 75 to 100 above where Catherine's looking to sell it at roughly. So, like I said, reach out to me, Scott@WeCloseNotes.com. Or you can schedule a call with talkwithscottcarson.com to get with me for 30 minutes to talk to you. And like I said, it's no cost to you to share your featured deal of the weekend on here. But anyway, I wanted to share something before we get to the vendor aspect of here. I'm actually attending an event, and today, tomorrow, and Friday, I'm actually going to 2 events. So today I went to the NIO summit that's actually taking place here in Austin, and it's a nonprofit innovation and optimization. And some people are like, well, Scott, why the heck are you going to a nonprofit event? Because you can always learn something, and it's good to get outside the box. Many times we go to real estate expos, or I go to marketing conferences like Traffic Conversion Summit in San Diego and stuff like that. And it's a lot of the same people, but it's good to flip the switch a little bit. Now, it also is nice that this was in my backyard. And I tell you what, I got some great nuggets today. I'm looking forward to sharing those. I'll probably share those over the next few weeks, a marketing tool, a marketing tactic that you guys can implement in your real estate investing to help you out with that. And that's today, tomorrow, and then also I'm going to sneak in the second half of tomorrow and Friday into the FinCon conference that's taking place here in Austin as well. So I'm excited about that. Some great speakers in the finance industry, YouTubers, content creators, experts, and looking forward to sharing some nuggets with you. I'll probably share some of these next week or the week after when I'm speaking, but excited to share some stuff. Always good to attend events. Met some great people, connected with some experts. You may see them on a podcast here in the next few weeks as well, because that's one of the most valuable things I get from going to events is just not only the nuggets, but being able to really pick the brain of experts who are teaching others how to do it. And it's one of the great ways. It's one of the great things that's helped me be successful over the last 15 plus years is being coachable, listening to others, and applying what I've learned from others, experts out there. So look forward to sharing some of those nuggets with you in the next few weeks. But anyway, our vendor spotlight, just wanted to bring this on. We talked a little about this last week. Hey, if you've got an owner finance note or you got a note you're looking to sell, please, whether it's performing or non-performing, owner finance, an institutional debt, a contract for deed, reach out to me and we'll give you a quick note quote on it. You go to We Close Notes and you go to this website, WCNnotequote.com. It should take you, it should be a .com at the very end, WCNnotequote.com. That'll take you directly to our one-page note quote page. Fill out the information, and we'll be glad to give you a bid within 48 business hours. And if it doesn't fit with what we're looking for, you may see it featured here on the US REI network or on our Note Night in America Monday night webinars as well. So check it out, wcnnotequote.com, and fill out your information there, whether it's an owner finance note. If you've got a buddy who's got a note, or somebody else has reached out to you, hey, I got a note for sale. We do pay referral fees. So we'll gladly pay you a $500 referral fee for any note that we end up buying and closing on. So check it out, wcnnotequote.com for you. But anyway, also before we get rock and roll on, if you are interested in learning a little bit about notes, want to dip your feet in the deep end of note investing, you can join me this Saturday at Note Weekend. It's my one-day class on how to find, fund, and flip non-performing notes. Our students call it the Cliff Notes version of note investing. So check it out at noteweekend.com. It's just $49. You get the replays. It's a great way to get started as a note investor. Before we bring our featured speaker, a little bit of announcement. Next week, we've had a little bit of change in the schedule. I'm excited to bring on Stacy Rossetti, my friend out of Hotlanta, who is just killing it in self-storage investing. She's bought 15 in the last year, got a couple more under contract. So we'll be talking about how to get started investing in your first self-storage facility in the next 90 days with Stacy Rossetti next Wednesday night. Excited about this. I've taken her training before. It's phenomenal. It's very affordable, and somebody who's out there kicking tires and lighting fires. So she'll be joining us next Wednesday. And then the Wednesday after that, you've got myself and I joining, sharing a little bit about how to get started investing in non-performing notes. We'll talk about that in 2 weeks. And the following week, we'll talk about asset protection with our buddy Aaron Young from Laughlin Associates. He's reached out, and we're gladly have him on. So we made some schedule arrangements to have him on here in 3 weeks, actually. So if you're a brand new investor or getting started or haven't pulled the trigger or scared to, hey, he might scare you a little bit, but one of the great things about Aaron and his team at Laughlin Associates, basically over 50 years of experience in helping entrepreneurs like you and me set up, structure, and create entities that will protect your assets so you don't end up losing them. So look forward to that in 3 weeks. So Stacy, Scott, and Aaron the next 3 weeks for. And you'll see these uploaded to the usreinetwork.com website. I know myself and Stacy on there. I need to add Aaron's, but check it out, register for it. And remember, if you register for the Zoom on the link at the website, if you register for Zoom, you're registered for all year long till the end of December there for you. So just make sure you join up on Wednesday night, and we're glad to hear it. And of course, if you miss a Wednesday night, we do have the replays on YouTube. We do live stream these to YouTube, and also have the replays emailed out to you on Thursday as well. But glad to have you here. So big drum roll. Hang on here. I got the drum roll here. Our featured speaker tonight really needs no introduction if you're in the Lone Star State. Guy who is just absolutely well known and just absolutely he's been around for a little while. He's had a little snow on the mountain there, but there's a fire in the furnace when it comes to real estate investing and working with investors. This guy has really done an amazing job. I've known him, I think, now for over a decade now. It's hard to believe that time flies when you're having fun, but this guy has such a great passion for helping other real estate investors. We call him the king of Texas tax deed sales, and just doing some amazing stuff out there. Former president of the Texas REI. This guy has such deep roots across the real estate investing community here in Texas. Former co-founder of the REI Expo and a variety of other things. The list is so long, we could be here all night with his accomplishments, but I'm going to shut up, and we're glad to have him here joining us tonight here at the US REI Network. What's going on, Arnie? How you doing, buddy?
Oh, after that introduction, my gosh. I need to put the PowerPoint up.
Yep. So if you see on the main screen there at the bottom of the control panel, you should see a green button that says share screen.
Yep.
The share screen, it should pop up what you've got open on your screen. Look at you. Yep. And then just pick your PowerPoint.
Okay, you got it.
You got it. You don't have your PowerPoint. There we go. Look, I'll just shut up. Now,
I guess we're ready.
There you go. Arnie, do you want to take questions to go through, or do you want to wait till the very end to answer questions?
I'm okay, whatever. If somebody has a question, especially about if it's something that they want clarification on before we move on, that's okay. And 2 warnings. Number 1, there are no short answers in this one.
Right.
Deal. And I may say, well, let's wait a little bit. We're going to cover that in more detail. But I love questions. I really do. And I say there are no dumb questions, just dumb answers.
Exactly. So if you're gonna ask a question, make sure it's relevant and a clarification. If it's something future on asking question, they hadn't covered it, just wait. Arnie will probably answer your question as he slides to a next slide in there for you. So if it's something relevant, need clarification, wave your hand. We'll be glad to bring you on and ask the question. But I'm going to shut up Arnie here. I'll be in the background, turn my camera off here. But Mr. Arnie, take it away, buddy.
Well, thank you so much. And hello to everyone. And Scott, this is such a great idea. You had to do these on Wednesdays. I've been there since the beginning, all 3 weeks, and it's just super. So let's get moving. Okay. First, let's start with the basics. That's a good place. What is a tax sale? The tax sale is a forced sale of real estate by a state governmental entity for unpaid property taxes by an owner. Now, state is capitalized for a reason. You may or may not know this, but it's in the Constitution of the United States that the federal government cannot tax real estate. So any of the taxes, things like this, have to be by the state. It's not to be confused with bank or mortgage foreclosures, because the bank or mortgage foreclosure, the property is sold at an auction because they didn't make their mortgage payment. But in a tax sale, the property is sold because the property taxes were not paid. Now, why do I even bring that up? Because in Texas, in many of the counties, the bank foreclosures and the tax foreclosures are going on at the same time at the same place. So I don't want you to be confused. And if you go to one of those sales, you want to make sure you're at the right one. And I always tell them, look for the guy with the badge and the gun, because the others are a lot more dangerous. They're all lawyers. So that's a joke. So no lawyer jokes, I know. All right, every state has their own system. You can see your state there. Some states are tax lien states. Some states are tax deed states, and some are combinations, like Florida, for example. In all cases, though, the back taxes are paid, which is the goal of the tax collection process. Okay, now, generically, here's how the tax sales happen. If a real property owner does not pay the property taxes, and real property is underlined because when I'm teaching the class, I say, what's the opposite of real property? And every now and then I'll get somebody say unreal property. And that may be true, but in these terms, it's personal property. And I make that point because when you buy a property at a tax sale, you're not going to get the furniture inside because that's personal property. You're not going to get the car in the driveway. That's personal property. But what most people don't know is 9 times out of 10, if it's a mobile home, that's also personal property. And you don't get it in the sale. And a lot of people don't know that. They're bidding on a property with a mobile home on it, thinking they're going to get it. Not only do they not get it, they have to pay to have somebody move it. Now, the mobile home owner can make it real property, but he has to jump through some hoops to do it. So that's one of the things, if you're bidding on a property that has a mobile home on it or a manufactured home, because every county defines them differently, then you need to find out whether it's real property or not. So if a real property owner doesn't pay the property taxes, the county or any other taxing unit or taxing entity can file the lawsuit to collect the unpaid taxes. Now, another reason I stop on this is the lawsuit will always name who is doing the suing. And you need to make sure that it includes all of the taxing entities. The 3 main taxing entities are the city, the county, and the school district. But it could be a lot of other things. It could be a junior college, could be a hospital. In Houston, it could be a mud district, or a lot of things like that. So you need to make sure that if you're paying the taxes, if you're going to pay the taxes when you buy the property, you have to make sure it pays all of the taxes. And not just, it may be a situation where just the county is doing the suing or just the school district. But here's a clue. If it says in the lawsuit, let's talk about your county, Travis County et al., E-T-A-L, meaning and others, it generally will include all the tax sales. I used to say it will include them, but I found out that the real definition of et al. Is not necessarily all others. It's and others. And sometimes it may not be, but it's a good clue. It's something to watch for. So then a judgment has to be rendered before they can go ahead and list the property for a tax sale. And that's with the judge, not a JP. And that's a very, very important thing, because not only do they have to get the judgment, but before they can schedule it for the sale, they have to contact everyone who has an equitable interest in that property and give them an opportunity to pay the taxes before they schedule it for a sale. That is really important, and I'll bring it up a little later. Why? Now, if the back taxes are not paid, then the rights held by the taxing units are sold at the public auction. Now, the rights in a tax lien state means that the amount owed in taxes, that is the tax lien, there's a lien. Let's say that we've got a $100,000 property. I remember we used to have houses for $100,000 before COVID. Anyway, let's say we've got a $100,000 property, and that's what it's assessed at, and they owe $20,000 in taxes. In a tax lien state, what they're going to sell is that $20,000 lien. The buyer of the lien does not own the property. The buyer has the legal right to collect the amount owed, the $20,000, and any interest. And every state sets their own interest rates. If the terms of the lien are not met, the lien holder can foreclose on the property. That's the ultimate way he will get it. Now, in a tax deed state, it's entirely different. The deed on the property is what's auctioned off. In my same example, the $100,000 property is being sold, and the opening bid will be the amount owed, the $20,000. And the bidding usually goes up from there. The tax deed will convey the property to the buyer. He's the owner. The winning bidder receives full ownership and rights to the property. Now, Texas is a tax deed state. And here are some of the reasons that makes the tax sales in Texas so special. First of all, monthly auctions. Some states have tax sales once a year, some twice a year, some every now and then. Texas has them every month. Always on the first Tuesday. Now, I used to say that always. There are two exceptions. The exceptions are if the first Tuesday happens to fall on a national holiday. Now, here's a little test question for you out there. What national holidays could possibly fall on the first Tuesday? Don't say Christmas. The 25th of the month is usually not the first Tuesday. Anybody want to type in? Or? Okay.
That's like the 4th of July, possibly a lot of times, right?
Perfect. That's one of them. What's the other one?
Well, I would say Mother's Day, but
Nope.
That's a Sunday. That's always a Sunday. I was just thinking first of the month. I don't know. What's the other one?
New Year's Day.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Very good. Very good. 1 out of 2 is not bad. That was a fairly recent law because in January 1st, 2019 was the first time that they had passed the law in Texas, and they didn't have it on the first Tuesday. Prior to that, if that happened, they just wouldn't have a sale that month. But in 2019, they had it the next day. So it comes on the first Wednesday in those two instances. And in a given month, we'll have 40 to 90 counties having a sale. Look at the map there. There are 258 counties in Texas. In a given month, they're not going to all have a sale. Some of the counties don't have as many people as we have on this call. So they're not going to have one every month. But the bigger the population, the more often they're going to have a sale. For the sale coming up October 5th, we've already got 67 counties have announced a sale, and somewhere we're over 1,000 properties being listed. So the tax sales in Texas or foreclosures. The winning bidder is the new owner of the property. The old owner has no rights except the right to redeem the property. Now, redemption is a funny word. It has different meanings, not even counting biblically, okay? But in a tax lien state, it means that they paid off that loan. Remember, if you were in the tax lien state, you bought that lien for for whatever you paid for it, for the $20,000 lien. Well, if they pay it off, that means they redeemed it. In a tax deed state, it's entirely different. You bought the property, and if they redeem it, they have to pay you back what you paid for the property plus a penalty fee. Now, only a few of the tax deed states, about half of them are tax lien states, half are tax deed states, and only 6 or 7 of the tax deed states have this right of redemption. If they redeem in Texas, they have to pay us back what we paid for it at the auction plus 25%. Now that's per year. And if it's in the first year, it's 25%. If it's in the second year, it's going to be 50%. And it's not prorated because it's not an interest rate. It's a penalty fee. That means that if you buy it on a Tuesday and sell it and they redeem it on Thursday, you get the full 25%. And not only would you get that, but if you kept it for a while and had to do some upkeep costs, as long as as you can prove that it was to maintain, preserve, and safekeep the property, and those are the exact words that are in the tax code, then they have to pay you that back too, plus 25%. And one of the examples they give in the tax code is insurance premiums, because that certainly is to maintain, preserve, and safekeep the property. So any insurance premiums you made while you owned it, they would have to pay you those back plus the 25% as well. Now, what you have to be careful about here is don't do any upgrades. So you can't take that countertop that's Formica and turn it into granite and expect to get that money back. You won't. It's got to maintain, preserve, and safekeep the property. And if it's redeemed in the second year, it's 50%. Now, that brings up the question, how long is the redemption period? Well, it's 180 days unless it has a homestead exemption. Notice, I didn't say unless it's a homestead. It must have a homestead exemption or an agricultural exemption or a mineral right that has been separated or severed legally from the property itself. In any one of these cases, if it has one of those, then the redemption period is 2 years. And that's where the 50% comes in. Another thing, immediate possession. I bring this up because I think it's in Georgia where you get immediate ownership of the property, but some of you Georgians out there can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm told that you have to wait a year before you can possess it, get possession or get rent or do anything to it. Not in Texas, it's immediate. And that means you're also immediately entitled to the rent. Day one, we go knock on the door after we bought a property and I'm your new owner. I get the rent. Now, when you buy a property at the tax sale in Texas, it extinguishes the non-governmental liens. Mortgages are not governmental liens, are they? So watch what happens. Gone. Only took me 20 minutes to figure out how to do that. Thank you. Okay. Now, let's talk about the basics. Those are some of the reasons relating to the tax sale itself, but the basics, the fundamentals, the real estate fundamentals, that's always got to be the basis for everything. Texas has high population growth. No individual state income tax. Plenty of land. growing employment opportunities, a statewide housing shortage, big time, and no affordable housing in the big cities, period. None. So how does this whole tax sale process works? That's really what you want to know. You probably already knew this other stuff. Okay, let's talk about it. How does one get started? Where should you go? Where do you need to do? What are the steps involved? They're not that bad. Keep this in mind, though. We can teach you what to do, and you can do it all yourself. Or we can teach you, and we can do any part of it that you don't want to do. Or thirdly, we can do it all for you. So you have a lot of choices. Our objective is to make it easy or easier for you. Your choice. We have our own 12-step program, by the way. Step number 1, find the counties that are having a tax sale auction every month. How do you do that? Well, you could call every county and ask them, or go online to their website and find out, or you could call the 3 big law firms that handle about 90% of them and do the same thing there, or you could buy a list that people are selling. Now, there's another choice. You could go to our website and for free get not only a map like this one that shows there are no coloring in the counties on our map on the website, except in the counties that are having a sale. And you can go and check it every day because it'll change every day. And then if you click, once you're on that map, you click, and guess what? You get an alphabetical list of every county, all 258 counties, alphabetically, and it tells you where the sale is, what time it starts, and how many properties are for sale. Or if it's blank in the column, then it's not having a sale. And again, that changes every day because they don't all announce on the same day. Last month, at the sale, this month actually, was on the 7th. And on the Friday before the sale on Tuesday, 2 counties came up with and announced they were having a sale. Crazy.
So they don't have to publicize it 21 days prior to it?
Yes, they do, but they don't have to post it online.
They don't. So they publicized it in publications, but not posted.
Yes, and the publications are not the Dallas Morning News. It's some business periodical thing that nobody gets except the people who get that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and look, we're in an age where you want it online, so that's why we put it on our website. It's online. It's free. That's what you need to do. Why pay for it if you can get it free? Then step number 2, once you found the counties you're interested in, you need to get a list of the properties in those counties that have an interest. Now that's going to depend on what you're looking for. Are you looking for a house? Are you looking for vacant lot? Are you looking for acreage? One of the things we look at are the prices because they usually will give you what the minimum bid is and also one of the values, either the assessed value or some value like that. And for example, if we have a $400,000 property and they owe $5,000 in taxes and that's the opening bid, I don't even bother with it. That guy is not going to lose his $400,000 house for $5,000. He will find a way to pay it off before the sale, even if he has to go to his mother-in-law, So you have to look at the ratio and to be realistic with it. $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 property under 10,000 minimum bid. Usually 1 in 100 maybe will have a problem. We'll get to the sale. So you have to constantly check them to see which ones are still on the sale and which ones are not. And that's why you can go to that thing on our website to find out. Now, then, once you decide on which properties you're interested in, you have to get data because all they're going to give you is the minimum bid maybe and one of the values and the address. But you also need to know the case number, because some counties don't even call out the address at the auction. They call it the case number. They call it the cause number in many counties. So you need that. And this is what we provide, what we can do, our research. So we can save you from doing all that because we'll put it on a spreadsheet and it'll say, here's the cause number, the address, the property ID at the website, if you want to look it up, the minimum bid, the adjudged value. And what that is the value the property was assessed at when the suit was filed. And that could be very different from the current assessed value. And in addition to that, we want to know if it's a house, when was it built? What's the square footage? How many bedrooms? How many baths? And no matter what, you want to know the size of the land. Is it 0.12 acres or is it 400 acres? You know, you need to know that. And what are the taxes? What would the taxes be if you bought it? And then we also like to check Zillow and Realtor.com and those kind of things just to see what their take is and that kind of thing. So that's the other step. Then step 4, you really need to visit the property. Almost every month after a tax sale, I will get a phone call from somebody who said, hey, I found you online and I bought a property at the tax sale. I went to go look at the house and there was no house. And I said, well, didn't you go visit the property first? Well, no, it was too far away. I didn't go. I looked at Google and I saw it. I said, well, that Google picture was 3 years old. It's been demolished since then. So it is essential. Somebody has to go look at the property today. And that's what we do. We go take current pictures of it because, you know, you might like that property and it turns out it's a little problem, not what you thought. Then step number 5, someone needs to perform or order a lien scan. Why? Because if you remember, I said all the liens are wiped out except for government liens. So somebody has to go and check and see if there's a government lien on there. And it's okay. It might be a few $100s, you don't care. It could be $150,000, then you do care if you inherit that. So someone needs to check on that, okay? Then you need to determine what your maximum allowable bid is. What basis are you going to use? If you're planning to rent the house, then you need to perform some number checks. You know, if I buy it for this and I have to spend this to rehab it, minus the taxes and the insurance and the rent minus taxes, insurance, and all the expenses, what's my net? What's my ROI? What's my return on my investment? You know, and maybe it's going to be a hold for appreciation. And the other thing is, you really need to do this for self-discipline. You should have your maximum bid. This is what it is, and make sure you don't get caught up in the auction fever, because a lot of people do. And you don't want to do that. And because you were looking at it before the sale, you figured out what your maximum bid is, stick with it. Number 7, prepare for the auction. Where is the auction? Is it online or do you have to be there? When is it? Most of them are at 10 o'clock in the morning, some are in the afternoon. And the other thing is, how do you pay for it? And do you need a certificate before you can bid? Do you know that in Texas, you may not bid for another individual at the auction? That's correct. You cannot. Now,
What? Are you serious? You can't send somebody to bid in your favor? Wow.
you cannot bid for an individual. You can bid for a company.
Ah.
If you have the proper authorizations. So that's another little hidden thing about it. And it's important. Now, when you're preparing for the auction, let's see, where am I? Number 8, did I miss one? Oh, that is preparing for the auction. Okay. Where, when, in the certification. That's something that's relatively new. some of the counties require, well, the law was passed, I think in 2019, that said in counties that have 250,000 or more people, you must get a certificate before you're allowed to bid. And to get the certificate, you have to go to the county and get them to issue you a certificate after they have checked to see that you don't owe any back taxes in that property, in that county. And that was the law that was passed. It applied to all the properties, all the counties that were 250,000 or more. And since then, many of the counties that have less than 250,000 or more have adopted it also. I think eventually they all will. Now, the problem is, one county says, okay, you can do it right before the sale. Another county says you got to do it 5 days before the sale. One of them says 2 weeks before the sale. So it's crazy. 2 weeks before the sale, some of those counties haven't even given you what the minimum bid is yet. How do you even know? So they're all crazy, but remember this, every county is different in every way. They've all got their little czars running it, and they're different in every county. So now you can attend the auction, now online or not, and you have to register when you get there. And I talked about the certification, and you need to find out before you go is what kind of payment requirements do they have? Because some of them in Dallas and Houston, for example, if you're at those auctions, and Houston is Harris County, of course, once you win the bid, you have to go right there, right then, and give them the money, the cashier's check. Right then, you can't go to the bank. You have to have it with you. Now, most of the counties give you time to go to the bank, but not all of them do. So it's important. And now, also, you need to make sure you get there early so you find out all this stuff in case you need to do it. But now some of them are going online. We had one county online for the last few years until this year. About 7 or 8 more have gotten online, and 10 to 12 more have announced they are. Dallas County is now online. Harris County will be online. They've announced it. And then let's bid. We're at the auction, or you're online with it. If you're online with it, the way they've got it set up, it's pretty automatic. You give them your maximum bid and they take care of the rest. They'll tell you how you did. But if you're at the auction, it's actually an auction. And as I say, you need to find out because sure, most of them are at 10 o'clock, some are at 10:30. Dallas County just announced they're going to start theirs at 9 o'clock. And not only that, but the incremental bids, instead of being a minimum of $100 over the previous bid, has to be $500. So there's all things that you have to find out about before. You don't want to get surprised, you know, and also if they give you time to go to the bank, you got to find out where the nearest bank is to where you're going to be and how much time they give you. Some of them give you an hour. In Tarrant County, in Fort Worth, for example, they give you an hour to go to the bank and back, but that's okay because all the banks are within 2 blocks of where the auction is. But not true in all the counties. And if you're in the smaller counties and the nearest bank that you use is 100 miles away, you got to make some accommodations, and we can handle that. And then you win the bid. Now, when you win the bid, how are you going to pay for it? Again, we've got those same issues. And how do they handle the overages? You're not going to have the exact amount necessarily in Dallas and Houston where you got to go pay right away. So you may have to pay them a little more and hope that they send it back this year. And how is it going to be titled? Do you want it in your name, or if you're bidding for another company, or you know, how is it going to be in an LLC? So these are all things you have to know ahead of time. And then the payment. Before you leave that auction, let's say you're going to the bank. Before you leave that auction, you got to find out, number one, how do you want that cashier's check made out? It may be to the county, it may be to the appraisal district, it may be to the law firm, it may be to the sheriff, it may be to the constable. All of those are in some different counties. You got to find out because they won't take it otherwise. And secondly, where do you bring it? If you go to the bank, you come back and the auction's over and nobody's there, where do you take it? And then thirdly, you ready for this? How much time do you have? The late fees are enormous. So these are things that you have to get before you leave the auction. And then you claim the property. Meet and greet. You go knock on the door. We just bought your property, right? And now you have to decide, what are you going to do now? What's the disposition? You need to look at it. Are they renters? Are they the owners? Do you want them to stay? You know, we hope they're, I personally like to buy properties that are occupied because you can get rent right away. I always tell our people, I said, after you introduce yourself and you knock on the door, if somebody's there, you say the 9 most important words that they want to hear. Don't worry, we don't want you to move. We don't. We want them to stay and pay rent. So these are our 12 steps that we can help you with, because remember, we want to make it easier. If it were easy and simple, everybody would be doing it. And the sales would look like that. Right now, just Houston and Dallas look like that. But that is why we make it easier or just plain easy for you. That's what we're here for. The 4 biggest reasons, deterrents that we call them, that people don't do tax sales. Why everyone isn't. Number 1, complicated, too much work. You just saw some evidence. I just kind of breezed through it, but it's a process. 2, a lot of properties removed before the sale. Number 3, there are some title insurance issues. And number 4, competition. Do you think there's any competition in real estate in Texas now? Come on. Prices are just going crazy. And here too. Now, let's talk about these. We know how to deal with them. In fact, we have classes about these. And some of the solutions are proprietary for only our members. But here are some of the way we deal with some of these hurdles, as we call them. Number 1, complicated and too much work. We can teach you what to do to make it easier for you because we have classes. Or we can do it all for you. Or we can do just the part that you don't want to do yourself. So we can help you. Here's some of the services. We have education. We have classes on every aspect of this. And we can do it online, on Zoom, in PowerPoint, just like we're doing now. The research, we can research all of the properties for you, or you can do it yourself, or we can teach you how to do it, but it's a lot of work. And we research every county, every property, period. And we can get pictures of the property before the sale. Current pictures, you have to have those. And then a little report with it too. Is it occupied? Is it unoccupied? Tell us about the neighborhood, that kind of stuff. That's important. And then at the auction itself, we can attend it for you. We can go online, in person. If you want to do it online, great. A lot of people don't. We will do it. I hate the online. I think it stinks, but we can do it for you. And then when you win the bid, then you have to do some things. You have to claim the property. You probably want to get an inspector to do an inspection report. I prefer an inspection report from a licensed inspector before I have a rehabber there, because the inspector will tell us what has to be done to bring it up to code. And that means maintain, preserve, and safekeep the property. If they redeem it, you get your full 25% back in addition to whatever you spend on that. And then you got to get it insured immediately. And you may or may not have to do rehab. You may or may not have to evict the people. And then you might want to get a property manager there. So we can do all those things for you or with you or help you with it. And by the way, it usually comes up about Can you evict the owners? Yes. All you have to do is say, you pay. If you want to pay, if you want to stay, you got to pay. That's the rep zone. And then we do have the membership to give you big discounts on all this stuff. And it's very unique, some of the things that we'll talk about. The second thing, many properties removed before the sale. I mentioned that before. And also, remember I said we have spreadsheets on all the counties with all the properties. Well, we check them every day to see if any of them have been paid off or removed from the sale. And we put a little red line all the way through that row. And I got to show you one of the interesting counties for that sale that earlier this month. Yeah, 24 properties listed, 3 of them made it to the sale. That's what I mean about many properties removed before the sale. That's one of the bigger towns too, cities. Now, how does that happen? I'm glad you asked that. The delinquent homeowners, the people about to lose their properties, are being offered loans to pay off the back taxes. And yeah, that's a loan shark over there. That's what you see. Now, these people are getting postcards. And here's what they say. Low rates and easy qualifying. No payments for 12 months. No prepayment penalty. No cash due at closing. No credit check. Same day approval. Why wouldn't they go for that? It sounds so great, right? Well, what do you think happens when that grace period is over and they have to start paying their taxes and repay the loan with interest? And guess what? There's some fees on there. Wouldn't you think that there's a chance they might lose their home? Yeah, a bunch of them. So we have an alternate choice that allows them to stay in their home and maybe even put some money in their pocket. We have what we call an early bird program that does really well when we get our message to them before they get those postcards. So we, and when I say we, it's our members. I don't buy anymore. I don't want to compete with our members. I'm only working to help our members and our people who are using our services. You know, I started doing this in '92 before most of you were born. I've had enough houses. I want to help you do it, okay? So we are sometimes the reason a property may be withdrawn from the sale because we bought it before the auction with title insurance. Now, what about this title insurance issue? You'll find that the title companies out there are going to want at least 2 years before they will give you a title insurance, and a lot of them 4 years and 5 years. Now, why is that important? Because if you want to sell a property that you bought at the tax sale, don't you think the buyer's going to want a title policy? I would think so. If you want to borrow against it, don't you think the lender is going to want a title policy? Well, good news. And by the way, before I tell you the other good news, Scott and I are talking now. We may have some opportunities for you note people out there to take advantage of this. So stay tuned. Keep checking with him every Wednesday. The other good news is we have a title company. It took me 10 years to find him that will issue a title policy after 6 months if it does not have a homestead exemption. So that's good news for a lot of our investors. However, that's only good for our priority members. We don't want our competition to have it because if they start doing it, then they'll get overwhelmed. They won't have time for us. Now, the fourth thing, talking about competition causing normally discounted auction prices to increase. Have we seen that everywhere in Texas? Of course we have. Who are those guys anyway? Now, I used to ask people, if you can name all 4 of these, I'll give you a big discount on your priority membership. But Scott's probably the only one old enough to remember one of them, right?
Yeah, probably so. Our guy on the right just passed away recently too.
Who did?
The far guy on the right just recently passed away.
Ernest Borgnine.
Yep, sure did.
Yep, you're right. Anybody know who that is? William Holden. Now, those two are the most well-known actors at the time. The other two, not a lot of people know about. Warren Oates here. He's in a lot of Western. And Ben Johnson, who was in The Last Picture Show too, by the way, if any of you remember that movie. Anyway, enough about that. Who are those guys? Who is the major competition that we're getting? You know, before I show you some of this, I saw an article the other day that said in Houston and Dallas, not just tax sales, all real estate sold in the last few months, 25% of it was bought by Wall Street. That means BlackRock, Blackstone, all of the above. And it means the hedge funds, private equity funds, real estate investment trusts. That's who's the big competition that everybody's talking about, not to mention the influx of new people coming from other states to Texas, right? Now, I'm going to tell you the competition that's no one else is talking about, but it's real and it's significant, big time. I'm not going to give you the name of it. I want you to come up with the name of it. I'm going to show you a picture. You tell me what this is. You ready? Any adventure? I'll tell you. Money laundering.
Talking about the cartels coming in to use it to buy real estate.
How about legal money laundering?
Okay, that's interesting.
How about if you're in one of the states where growing marijuana is legal?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Cash, all that cash, but you can't go put it in the bank. But you can drive to Texas, give it to the sheriff, he gives you a deed, and it's legally laundered. How's that? And guess what? Probably the aforementioned that you said, there's probably a little of that too.
Right.
I think. And you know what? If you're laundering money, legally or otherwise, you don't care what you pay for it because you can't use it otherwise. That's some real competition. Now, where is the most competition? Tax sales in Texas. The most of it is in the bigger cities. So if it's in the bigger cities, where's the least of it? In the smaller rural areas, of course. Why so much in the bigger cities? Well, it's obvious. There are more sales there. You know, in Houston, they'd have 150. And in, I don't know, Hopkins, last month, Hopkins County, they had one property. And they had 30 people there. I was there. More properties are offered for sale in the bigger cities, the cities in the counties that have the bigger cities. More contractors if they have to do rehab. More buyers when they're ready to sell it. Of course, that makes more sense. Now, we saw this happening a few years ago before COVID. And all the hedge funds, institutional buyers, the legal money laundering, the prices in the big cities going crazy, no longer affordable housing. And we switched our emphasis to the rhubards. That's our name for rural suburbs. And it was the best kept secret for a long time until COVID. Because what happened, COVID has accelerated the moves to the rhubards. Look, if people are working from home, they need more room. They need more house. They need more land. Land is cheaper the further you get out of the cities. When you get away from the crowds, it's also a healthier lifestyle and more affordable housing because the costs are lower, of course. So we're seeing all this move to the rhubards. Wow. Now it was great. Now, how can you participate? You know, you've learned some interesting stuff, hopefully, but how can you participate and take advantage? Number one, you can purchase any of our services. There's our website, txtaxsales.com. I'll give it to you a little later too. We're the source for outsourcing. One of our priority members even coined this phrase, may the source be with you. That's Thank you for laughing. I know some of these viewers, they're not old enough to know who that is.
Right.
Mr. Spock. Somebody said Dr. Spock. I said, no, that's a baby doctor. This is Mr. Spock. Okay. Or you can become a priority member. What does that mean? Priority membership. We had the learn and earn revenues, but I alluded to this a while ago. We teach you what to do. And if you're going to do it yourself, we can teach you how to report what you do, and you can get paid for it when other people want to buy the pictures that you took, for example, or want you to bid for them at an auction. It's getting paid for what you're doing already anyway. It's so exciting a program. We love it. And it's only for our priority members. We don't want to teach our competition. Secondly, free classes for our priority members. Whatever classes we have, and we got a bunch of them, free. Online too, on Zoom. A discount on all of our services for our priority members. The 6-month title insurance, only for the PMs. First choice on everything we do. If we come out with a list or any kind of list or anything, they always get it at least 24 hours before it's released to the public. We have a cream of the crop. There's a funny story with that, how that started. I'll tell you one day, but it's a little longer. But bottom line is, as I'm going through all the properties to decide, you know, we're getting all the data and all that, the ones that look really good, I'm pulling aside and I put them on a list that's available. And we monitor them every day, and those lists are available to our priority members. I have about 60 properties for the sale in October on the list now. By the time we get to the sale, it'll be down about 20 probably, because many will get knocked out. But it saves them a lot of time because we have all the data on it, and it's already done for them. I'm doing what they would do themselves, but why should we have 20 or 30 or 40 people doing it if one person doesn't has it available? We have something called sequential bidding. I don't know anywhere else you can do that. One of our members says, okay, I've got X number of dollars and I want to bid on this property. But if I don't get it, I want to bid on this one. But if I do get it, I don't want to bet on it. Or if I get it for this price, I'll have some left over. I can bet. We can handle all that. We do that for our priority members. It's so great. Nowhere else do they have that. One-on-one communication. That's who I work with, the priority members, or any of our staff. But usually I'm on the phone a lot because that's the fun part. You know, Scott and I have talked about this. You know, this business is about your relationships. And that's what we like to do, is build the relationships. So Scott and I go way back. He was a teenager, I think. I don't remember. Anyway.
I don't know if I was that young, but yeah. I might have looked a lot younger, a lot less gray, Steph would say.
Yeah. We have growth opportunities because we're growing, and we need some people that help us grow. They want to help us grow and get paid for it. And we have exclusive financing. Nowhere else do I know of where you can get financing for a tax sale property in Texas. Only for our priority members. And then we have the secret sauce. What is the secret sauce? I can't tell you, it's a secret. No, I will. Okay. These are tax sale properties from several different sources. Some are not from normal tax sale places. Some are not from the 3 law firms that provide 90% of the listings. And most of them are from different places. For example, some of them are bought before this auction and the prices can be negotiated. And you can buy them with title insurance, and we can inspect the properties. All of them have less competition. Here's some examples. 2 of these properties were bought last year, 2 of them this year. I'll tell you this. None of them sold, none of them were purchased over 100,000. In fact, all 4 of them were purchased closer to 50,000 than 100,000, all at tax sales. Now, they were not in Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, or Fort Worth, but none of the towns that they were in were less than 15,000 people in the 2010 census, and they've grown significantly since then. There's a little town just east of McKinney called Princeton, Texas, and McKinney's North Dallas. It's 7 miles from McKinney to Princeton. They had 6,800 people in 2010 census. They've tripled since then. Tripled, 300%. There are 2 ways to become a priority member. We have a one-time enrollment fee, or if you want to earn your way, we can do that as well. Now, the one-time enrollment fee, it's a one-time fee of $49.97. No annual fees, no assessments, that's it, one time. And you get everything we talked about. And we have a lot of new things happening. New website, new benefits, new values, new opportunities, other things, farmlands, minerals, things like that. New products, new services, a lot of new things coming. The provisional thing is where you're instructed in the Learn and Earn program, just like our priority members, but your earnings are applied to the $49.97. And you can work it off however you like. And by the way, it's a training fee of $600, which includes classes and field training. And that applies against that $49.97 as well. So you can elect to pay the difference if you ever get close and want to do it that way. This gives you an opportunity to dip your toe in the water and see if it's everything I'm talking about before you want to lay out that much, if you want to do it that way. Now, the activities of the provisional program are performed in Texas. So it's really limited to Texas residents or investors who are going to come here before the sale. Or if they come early enough, we can get them to do it, a few days before. So that's okay too. We have some of both. And these are some of the new areas that are still, we're working on why we need more participation. Mineral rights are being sold at the tax sales now. We're already bidding on them. There's a big increase in people looking for land now, but especially in these smaller areas where they're coming because they want to build houses because there's no housing available. And the mobile homes, I talked about them being personal property, but there's still money to be made in that arena. It's just a little different. And I told you, Scott and I are talking about notes for investors to buy and or bid on. We're talking about those. Talk to us.
It's in the works.
I'm sorry?
It's in the works.
In the works. The strike-offs. Strike-offs, you don't see as many as you used to. Strike-offs is properties that go to an auction, nobody bids on them. Now, the reason is it may be a really bad piece of property, or it may be that the minimum bid was too high in relationship to the value of it today. Once it goes to the strike-off list, it means it's struck off back to the taxing entity. Sometimes they will lower the price or accept bids. So that's another area that we work at a little bit now, but we're going to start doing more of. And then farmland. Now, we've never looked at farmland before, but now there's a tremendous demand for that. And as Colombo used to say, just one more thing. You remember Colombo, Scott?
Yes, I do remember him. Yeah, sure do.
And all these young kids don't, though. But Colombo, he said, just one more thing. Think about this. A long time ago, not in a galaxy far, far away, we complained about millions of dollars the government was spending. And then we got over it. And then we complained about billions of dollars the government was spending. Now we have trillions being printed and about to get spent. Where did all those dollars come from? The answer is the printing press, because there's nothing behind them. Several years ago, when it was millions, that led to big time inflation. What do you think's in store for us in the next few years? Hey, it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to be next week, next year, but it's talked to all. I've never met an economist who hasn't said it's coming.
Yep.
Time in the next 10 years. So what is inflation anyway? Inflation is the decrease in the purchasing power of the money. When the general level of prices go up because of that, every dollar buys fewer goods and services. What is hyperinflation? That's rapid, excessive, and out of control general price increases. Two primary causes of hyperinflation are an increase in money supply not supported by economic growth. Does that sound familiar to what's going on now?
Mm-hmm.
How about inflation where demand outstrips supply? That's certainly true of housing in Texas, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Both of these overload the demand side of the supply and demand equation. Now, I'm not trying to alarm you or be panic or anything, but by definition, hyperinflation occurs when prices go over 50% in 1 month. I'll bet some of that happened in Austin in housing prices this year at one time.
So they're already saying that housing in Austin is somewhere between 40 and 80% over the price of the actual value.
I know, it's crazy. And this is often caused by government that prints more money than its nation's gross domestic product can support. I doubt that we'll see that, and I certainly hope not. However, if we move in that direction, what does that mean for us as investors, as real estate investors? Where should we put our dollars that would rapidly become worth less and less in terms of buying power? What goods and services would they buy? It seems to me the answer is necessity, things that people have to have, regardless of what the economy is doing, things like basics things, food, clothing, shelter. Doesn't that make sense? Now, what is food? Where does it come from? It comes from animals and crops grown. Where are the animals and crops? On farms or in the backyards. That sounds a little bit like real estate, doesn't it?
Yeah, and our farmers are hurting the worst out there.
Clothing. Where do clothes come from? Animals and synthetics. Where are the animals? On farms or in backyards. Also sounds a little like real estate. Where do the synthetics come from? The same place that plastics come from. Petroleum. That just flat sounds like Texas real estate, doesn't it? We have a little of that in Texas.
Texas gold.
And then shelter. What is shelter? Houses, apartments, hotels, motels, tents, yurts. That also sounds a little like real estate. So where are all of these things? On land. Land is real estate. Where is the most desirable land of all the states? Well, you could say that there's more land available in Alaska, but I said most desirable land that you can use. Too much ice up there. And even in California, they've got a lot of land, but a lot of it is mountains. So the answer is, of course, Texas. That's where there is the most desirable land available. And even farmland, we mentioned that a while ago. Look at this, I had to bring this out. According to the US Department of Agriculture, 80% of the farmlands in the United States is owned by landlords, not by the farmers. And guess who the biggest single landowner of farmland is in the United States? Bill Gates became the largest private farmland owner in the US in 2020. accumulated more than 269,000 acres of farmland in 18 states. What does he know that we don't know? You know, plenty of farmland for sale at the Texas sales and tax sales. So Texas deed sales are the right place at the right time for all the good reasons that we covered early, plus those what happens if this reasons. So I think we're here now, and don't wait. You can choice. You can use our services for the next tax sale and beyond. You can become a priority member. You can join our provisional program. You can learn more about tax sales. Whatever it is you'd like, we want to help you. Wow, y'all have been very tolerant. Thank you so much. I hope there are a couple of questions.
I got a couple questions for you, Arnie. So when you're talking about the farmland and what you've seen at, what's the size acreage wise that you've seen? I know it's going to vary across the board, but you have like a min and max you've seen in Texas?
Well, interesting you should ask. We see them every day, 4 acres here, 6 acres, 20 acres, 50 acres. 2 months ago, in my, what did I call it? The secret sauce, I ran across 124 acres in one package, 15 minutes from a city. And I put it out to our priority members, said, anybody interested? Well, 8 of them got together and formed a LLC, and we bought it before the sale from the owner for $3,000 an acre. So that's our biggest so far, 124 plus acres.
But when you see the smaller ones, you know, what are the taxes on those? I mean, obviously we have we've got the higher property taxes in Texas, around about 2.6%, 2.7, somewhere around there, but still relatively inexpensive to pick up some land compared to other places, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Listen, the taxes just means that's what the biddings can be. You're going to bid more than the minimum bid,
right,
in this market. So, you know, if you can buy, you know, I used to live in Dallas. We moved out of Dallas. All our friends said, you'll be back in 6 months. That was 21 years ago. Okay. There's my backyard, right? Well, the deal is that when I moved out here, the acreage was selling like $2,500 an acre. Now it's $25,000 an acre.
Yeah.
But there are still deals to be had. Look, we bought that big deal over there for $3,000 an acre on the tax sale. And I had 2 offers that day. People who called us and said, hey, I'll give you $5,000.
Wow.
And our investors said, no, let's see what we can get. I think it's worth a lot more. So
right. When is your you mentioned that the learn and earn, when's your next class on that you're doing, Arnie?
As soon as I get 3 people ready to do it.
There you go.
A one-on-one type of place. We're not going to have hundreds of people doing this. I get 2 people together. I'll do the class with them right now on Zoom. I do them every week. We will set it up every week once we get a little more people coming on. Then we'll set up a time like you do on Wednesday. We won't do it on a Wednesday.
Right, but you do it as long as you got 3 people, you're doing it. And so that's really small, but it's also a lot of hands-on, which is what I love. That's the beautiful about it is it's hands-on. You don't have to go out and replicate everything. Arnie's got it all there for you in all the different counties and helping you identify opportunities and done most of the heavy lifting, right, Arnie?
That's right. I'll tell you what, we really need some people south of Dallas, you know, in the triangle. We need people in the San Antonio area. We need more people in the Houston area and everywhere in the middle and in East Texas and in some of the West Texas places. Up in the Panhandle, we need some people. And, you know, in Sweetwater. And I mean, we go there now. We have people that go to all these places, but we need people local that can help us and do that, that'd be great. Who was it? Alan in Spring. Hey, Alan, let's talk. I need somebody who can go in. I know where Spring is. You're almost in
Houston.
went blank. You're almost in Round Top.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. That's right. I almost said Round Rock, but we know it's a whole different zip code. Yeah.
Round Rock is with you. Round Top is in the middle of nowhere. and that have 70 people in the town, except twice a year when 40,000 people come in there for their antique stuff. It's a crazy place.
In Round Top, but I imagine the bet that you get some acreage or some farmland around that neck of the woods, huh?
Right. So, good question.
So, yeah, other questions for you. Somebody asked on YouTube here, I live out of state. Can you do this with me when I'm out of state?
Absolutely. I actually have a priority member in 5 of the 7 continents. We recently got a new priority member from Switzerland.
Wow.
Just found us online. He may be on tonight.
He's getting a bigger bang for his buck over here versus there.
Well, here's the thing. Yes, now that they're going online, there'll be a lot more people from all over that are going to realize they can buy tax sale properties. As far as I know, we're the only company that covers the whole state.
Mm-hmm.
And it does all this work for the people, all of this. And that's why we need more people, more in Texas to help us do that, because everybody's going to make money on that.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. Guys, gals, questions. Jason, I see you on Clubhouse. I saw somebody else that was on Clubhouse that jumped on over onto the Zoom. Boogie Nights, I think that was what your name was on Clubhouse there. What questions do you have for Arnie? Arnie, you've been doing this, golly, you've been focused primarily on this for how long now? Because you used to.
I did my first one in 92, but then I did everything else that everybody else did in real estate for a whole bunch of time. And then I was going to retire, and I said, I just want to teach because that's fun. Mm-hmm. And about right around 08, 09, I closed down our office and we quit managing 200 properties. And I said, I just want to teach about tax sales. And I just did it for fun. Mm-hmm. I realized that nobody else was doing it. And nobody was covering the whole state. And it kind of grew, and it was a new career. So instead of playing golf every day, I'm doing this every day. And I love it. It's a good thing because I lost my shoulder. I couldn't do it anymore.
Erica says she's in Spring, Texas. How can I help?
Let's get together.
There you go, Erica's email. Best thing to do is Arnie at txtaxsales.com or Texas, all spelled out, taxsales.com. So
right, and there's my phone number. That's my cell number on the screen right now.
Right, 214-869-7188. Once again, that's 214-869-7188. It brings directly to Arnie and get rock and rolling.
Or the email, Arnie at txtaxsales.com.
Yeah.
Hey, that's 2 people in Spring already, Alan and what was her name?
Alan and Erica Doyle.
Erica, okay. Well, I'll do it with you 2 if nobody else wants it.
She goes, I will email Mr. Arnie. That sounds like Erica then. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Same here. You're short. Let me know, Arnie. I'll jump in a class as well. Always a good thing to learn on something here in the backyard. So Arnie, once again, as always, thank you for delivering and just sharing the goods tonight. Such great stuff. Erica's okay. Yes, Erica's nickname is Boogie. There we go. That was the girl there. She says thank you. She'll email you and get rock and rolling there for you, which is good stuff. Melanie asks if I joined late. Is there a recording? Yes, there is a recording. We record all of these, and you can always check out the live stream. The fastest way if you don't watch it tonight, if you go to weclosenotes.tv or go to my YouTube channel, weclosenotes.com, you'll see the playlist for the REI or the US REI network, or we'll send you a replay link tomorrow morning as well with the full thing. But take Arnie up on it. Great opportunity to learn and earn, and then use that towards becoming a priority member, like you mentioned there for you as well. So good stuff. Arnie, guys, gals, there's no other questions, comments from you guys out there. Feel free, think of an email. Feel free, give them a phone call, drop them an email, reach out to me. We'll be glad to put you in touch with Arnie to get you rock and rolling and become a Texas tax deed investing expert there for you. So
God, I want to thank you for the opportunity to, anything you do, I'm going to support.
I
You,
appreciate it, buddy.
for the last 20 years, I've watched you and you are just great.
Well, thank you, brother. You know, like anybody else, we've had our ups and downs, but we keep cracking up, you know, we keep going, rocking on. Awesome. Good stuff, Arnie. And
Well, thank you.
I will talk to you. I'll give you a phone call. I'll talk to you Friday. Okay.
You got it. All
All right,
right. Thank you.
Sounds good. All right, everybody. That's going to wrap it up for this episode, this Wednesday night of the US REI Network. Make sure to go out. Once again, go out. If you joined us late, go join one of the Facebook groups, the LinkedIn group, the Meetup group. You can go to the website, usreinetwork.com, access them all there. Make sure to RSVP for the next ones. We've got Stacy Rossetti next week and myself the following week. So go out, take some action, everybody, and we'll see you all at the top. Bye. See you later, Arnie. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.